Hey guys, what's going on today?
Don't you know? It's Tech Tip Tuesday.
Today is Tech Tip Tuesday. All right, so right now we're to the stage where we have to seam another liner, and the only reason we want to seam this is we do not want to have any difficulties with any water loss or anything else. And yes, you can do an overlap, but where we want to do the next drop waterfall, we really need to seam it rather than rely on an overlap. So right now, Jason and Kyle are getting this clean. Let's go over and check it out and see what those guys are doing. All right, so one of the most important things really is the fact that they really need to get the liner super clean. Yes, they're brand new liner, but again, it rained today, right, Kyle?
A little bit, not too bad though.
And so Jason and Kyle are kind of drying it up. Then we'll have to clean it really well because there's a little bit of sand and stuff in here. We want to make sure that that seam is perfect. The other thing that Jason has, Jason, show him the heat gun right there. So this is a heat gun for those of you that don't know, and what we're going to do is take the moisture out of the liner with that. You got to be careful, obviously, not to melt the liner, but all we're going to do is we're going to take and run that heat gun back and forth, and Jason's going to show you that right now, even though they're still cleaning. But for camera's sake, let's give it a shot. Right there, you can see how that moisture starts to come out of that. We want to make sure that the moisture is out of the liner, so that way when we put our primer on, it's going to stick really well to that liner. And it is fall, temperatures are a little cool, so this really doesn't hurt. But again, make sure you don't melt your liner. Right, Jay?
Absolutely.
You know what's going to happen, don't you? You're going to melt the liner because I got the camera.
Hey, if I don't pay attention, we're going to melt the liner.
That's why you won't look at us. I'm trying to get them to look. All right. We're going to go on to the next stage. Kyle and Jason are going to show you how we seam a liner. All right. We are using all Firestone products here. Our pond liner is Firestone, and we're using the Quick Prime Plus Primer right here to get ready to put our seam tape on. One of the things you have to do first is you really need to have a double-sided tape. The double-sided tape sandwiches the two liners together and just kind of keeps everything in place. You want to make sure you have no wrinkles, and just to be foolproof, we go back over it with a 6-inch cover tape right over the top, which you'll see throughout this video.
So we've got our liner dried and cleaned. Our next step is going to be applying our seam tape primer to both sides of the liner. All right, so we've got our seam tape primer down. Our next step is to put down the double-sided 3-inch seam tape. Key when doing this is to make sure we don't have any wrinkles. So our next step is going to be to overlap this liner a little bit at a time onto that 3-inch seam tape, and then we will slowly pull this tape off a little bit at a time, making sure we don't have any wrinkles in this to make sure it seals properly. We've got our 3-inch double-sided seam tape on in between the two liners. We've covered that up with the other liner. Now we're going to go ahead, because we're going to use this 6-inch seam tape, and use seam tape primer probably in like a 10-inch area here right down that seam, so then we can put our 6-inch seam tape on. And now we're going to apply our 6-inch cover tape.
The guys ran through the whole process with you. If you like this sort of thing, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, whatever you got to do to get notified, because we got more to come. Thank you for watching. We'll see you all soon.